Chapter 228 Tian Ling. After the golden shield disappeared, Yixian looked around. The area was a complete mess. The people from the Wugui family were either dead or injured, leaving only Wu Yu and Yihan, who were some distance away, still standing. Remembering the battle, Yixian realized that everything had been calculated by Nili. The reason why Nili hadn't used the Legend Rank Forbidden technique, Inscription Scroll, earlier was because he wanted to wait for the two Legend Rank experts from the Wugui family. Nili was already prepared to use the Golden Shield the instant the Wugui family used the Golden Sky Slash. Furthermore, had already predicted his opponents would underestimate the power of his Yin-Yang Blast. Because of this, he managed to kill his opponents with one strike. In terms of raw strength, Nili might not be able to match for a single Legend Rank expert. However, Nili's control over his own power and his ability to evaluate another's strength, he has already reached an extremely precise degree. He had also had many other cards hidden up his sleeve. Even if the Yin-Yang Blast didn't deal with them in one strike, Nili could have used Draconic Bombs or some other methods to kill both of them. Wu Yu and Yihan were both dumbfounded and still couldn't react to the situation. All of the experts who charged towards Nili were now on the ground. Those who were still alive were groaning in pain. Nili directed his cold gaze towards Wu Yu and Yihan and headed in their direction. Nili was walking towards them. Wu Yu and Yihan immediately tensed up. Wu Yu wielded his large sword and was prepared for a fight. However, his palms were already drenched in a cold sweat and were shaking. He was obviously in a pinnacle at the black gold rank, same as his opponent. Yet why is Nili emitting such an overbearing pressure? Yihan took a step back. As he looked at Nili, Yihan's eyes flashed with a trace of fear. He was a part of the Wugui family. With their strength, they could easily crush Glory City along with Nili. Yet why did his plans fail time and time again? Just who was Nili? Why was he able to wield such a terrifying strength at such a young age? Seeing Yixian, who was glaring at him with eyes full of hatred, Yihan knew that if he allowed himself to be captured by them, he would definitely not be let go. Yixian, did you know? Everything I did for you was for you. Yihan thought inwardly. He was unwilling to die here like this and frantically search for an escape. His eyes suddenly found the gaping entrance to the endless abyss that was only a short distance away. Yihan ran madly towards that abyss. Seeing his actions, Nili's knitted his brows and immediately chased after Yihan. Although he knew that jumping into the bottomless pit spewed and spelled certain death, Nili wasn't willing to let Yihan just go like that. He had to capture him and let Yizong administer justice. When he saw Nili chase after Yihan, Wu Yu gave Yixian a glance, then immediately dashed off in the opposite direction. Yixian took a glance in Yihan's direction, then clenched her teeth and swept the snow wind attack after Wu Yu instead. You want to kill me with your hands? I won't let you. Even in death, it won't be through your hands. Even if I, Yihan, were to turn to a malicious spirit, I get back everything that I have lost. Yihan shouted as he was enraged. 3 poisonous wasps materialized in his hands. Under his orders, dived towards Nili. Venom Sting Wasp. Nili's facial slightly changed. The Venom Sting Wasp was an extremely terrifying type of demon beast. The poison in its sting is very potent. Even a black gold rank expert would easily lose his life. Furthermore, Venom Sting Wasps were quite hardy, capable of enduring all sorts of attack, making them very difficult to exterminate. Nili had no idea where he had found something like this. He pushed the large law energy from his palms and attacked the 3 Venom Sting Wasps. Bang, bang, bang! The 3 wasps immediately exploded. In reality, Nili already knew the weak points of the Venom Sting Wasp and had sent 3 needle-like bursts of law energy into their internals. The 3 wasps exploded from within, resulting in instant death. Nili had reacted very quickly to the wasp. However, Yihan still had managed to draw quite a bit of distance between them. so even the venom sting moss were ineffective. Yihan raced towards the abyss, sparing no effort. Nearly realized that Yihan was about to leap into the abyss. It was already impossible to stop him at this point. Therefore, he rapidly emerged with his fang Panda and spat out a yin-yang blast. The yin-yang blast soared towards Yihan and exploded. The formidable power engulfed Yihan's body, impacted by the explosion of the yin-yang blast. Yihan violently spat some blood as he flew into the abyss. Nearly skimmed the ground and landed on the edge of the abyss. He never thought that Yihan would rather jump into the abyss than be caught by him. However, even if Yihan hadn't been killed by the yin-yang blast, he would definitely be heavily injured. Add falling into the bottomless abyss, and he should definitely be dead, right? Who knows? What kind of a demon beasts are lurking within this bottomless pit? Yihan probably wouldn't even leave a bone behind after they were through with him. Nearly remained silent for a brief moment, then looked towards the distant Yixian, who was chasing after Wu Yu. However, Wu Yu was a 5-star black gold rank expert. That short amount of time she had is insufficient for her to make him stay. Nearly immediately rushed towards them. He couldn't let Wu Yu escape, otherwise it might bring another round of trouble for Glory City. Yixian gave a short roar as she gathered snow wind power in her palm. The energy turned into an ice sword that launched itself at Wu Yu's back. This ice sword contained the power of the Blizzard spiritual gem. Once it struck Wu Yu, it would pierce through his body. Just as the ice sword was about to hit Wu Yu's back, it suddenly exploded into shards of ice. A youth clad in white slowly floated down and landed beside Wu Yu. Young Master Wu Yu, why are you here? Seeing this youth, Wu Yu grasped for breath before he was able to stand firm. Despite his breath still being in a panic state, he had felt the amount of power contained in that ice sword. If he had been struck by that, the consequences would have been too dreadful to contemplate. Luckily, Ling saved him. Ling looked at Yixian and calmly said, "Lady from the human race, I wonder, how did Wu Yu offend you to the point that you would use such methods to kill him?" "The enmity between us is none of your business," Nearly appeared from the side as he answered on behalf of Yixian. He could tell that Tian Ling's strength was one as inferior as the others. He couldn't see through this, thus he didn't dare to blindly take action. Hearing Neely's words, Yixian didn't dare to say anything rash, since she didn't have a clue about this youth's identity. However, she completely trusted Neely and sensibly stood beside him. The Wigui family is a vassal family of the Northern Nether family. If you guys want to kill the young master of the Wigui family, you naturally have to seek the permission of my Northern Nether family, Tian Ling unquestionably stated as his gaze fell onto Neely and Yixian. Neely fell silent for a moment. If he and Yixian wanted to kill Tian Ling, the fight would probably be very tough. The strength of this Tian Ling was deep and immeasurable. If they were to continue, reinforcements might come to aid Tian Ling's side. Since the Wigui family is a vassal family of the Northern Nether family, then this matter will end at this, and we'll settle this with the Wigui family in the future. Neely turned towards Yixian and said, "Let's go." Neely and Yixian turned and prepared to leave. When Neely and Yixian was leaving, Tian Ling slightly knitted his brows and was about to stop them. Wu Yu hastily blocked his way and said, "Young Master Tian Ling, although they have only the strength of black gold rank, they managed to kill 2 legend rank experts from my Wigui family. It's not a good idea to provoke them." Wu Yu was already frightened of Neely. Upon hearing Wu Yu's words, Tian Ling pulled back and gave an even deeper look at Neely and Yixian's figures. How did you guys end up provoking those two? Wu Yu's gaze flickered for a brief moment and said, "One of my subordinates had conflicts with them. I originally thought that I would be able to stick up for my subordinate. However, I never imagined that the 2 of them would be so powerful." Without the consent of the family's patriarch, he didn't dare leak the information regarding Glory City. Once the Northern Nether family knows the existence of Glory City, it will definitely fall into the hands of the Northern Nether family. In that case, they would rather receive all the benefits, while the Wigui family is left with the crumbs. Tian Ling gave Wu Yu a glance. He didn't say anything else. These sorts of feuds were simply too common in the Nether realm, so it was completely natural that Wu Yu didn't want to talk about it. However, Tian Ling was curious about Neely and Yixian. Since the two of them had such strength at young ages, they should have decent reputation in the Netherrealm, so why hasn't he heard of them before? As Wu Yu stared at Neely and Yi Xian's retreating figures, his eyes flashed with a trace of maliciousness. This time, Wu Yu had suffered a great loss, even more since it occurred just before the master of the Netherrealm picked his disciple. It was unavoidable for him to be reprimanded when he returned home. One day I'll mercilessly crush the two of you beneath my feet, especially that wretch. I'll trample you when that time comes. Neely took Yi Xian with him and walked far until he was sure that Tian Ling and Wu Yu were no longer in sight. He then let out a long sigh of relief. Neely had sensed that Tian Ling's strength was almost absolutely imaginable. If they had engaged in a fight, it would have definitely been a fierce battle. At the same time, it would be normal for unexpected situation to appear. Therefore, it would be in their best interest to avoid conflicts with Tian Ling. Yi Xian looked at Neely and asked, "Neely, what happened to Yi Han?" "He suffered a yin-yang blast of mine and is probably dead," said Neely. Yi Xian's eyes flashed with a trace of sadness. Yi Han was, after all, the foster son of her father. Although this was what he deserved, the kind Yi Xian couldn't help feeling pity for him. Even now, she couldn't understand why Yi Han would betray Glory City and attempt to assassinate her father. Her father had always treated him like his own son. "Neely, let's not talk about my father about this," Yi Xian said after pondering for a brief moment. Neely glanced at Yi Xian and slightly nodded his head. He naturally understood what was in Yi Xian's heart. She probably didn't want Yi Zong to be heartbroken. Although Yi Han was only a foster son, he was still a child that Yi Zong had raised with his own hands. Yi Han deserved to die, but don't feel bad for that kind of person, Neely said as he patted Yi Xian's shoulder. He then looked towards the distance. The battle had begun at the edge of the lake, was still ongoing, and had now reached the center of the lake. Those people were still unable to finish off that zombie gel dragon.